Yeah. Oh, and hello, Dale. Thanks for coming in. Well, hello. How's it going?
Hey, hey, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you wonderfully.
Good, good.
I am just thrilled to the gills that you were willing to come onto my live stream tonight.
Well, I'm out in a van. I'm in the middle of the desert right now. I'm here in the van. And actually, I want to thank you because you're forcing me to set up a live stream. Yeah, out of the van. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So this is really cool. I love it. I
So,
love
this
it.
is where your live streams are going to be now.
Well, kinda, out of home base or either out of the van. But I need to get this set up. I got some lighting going and got the cameras, got the banner hung. This is actually
Mm-hmm.
a curtain here. This is the cab of the van up here, and hang blackout curtains. I got the banner and some lighting and whatnot. So
I recognize the easy chair. I was watching the video of your
yeah,
van earlier today, and I was like, oh, he's all relaxed and reclined. Very smart.
one of the biggest mistakes I see people when they build out the vans and they spend a bundle of money. They put in all the fancy cabinets, the water systems, and everything, but they don't have a good place to sit down. They make the worst little bench seats in them. So they're either sitting in those or on their bed in a
Mm-hmm.
van, and they can have all the cupboards. Now, what I don't have is all the cupboard space, but eventually I will, you know. But
It's
yeah,
whatever works for each person, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, we got a lot of people saying hello to you, like Carrie Joe and Mark saying hello. Lance says how you love those live
Wow.
streams.
Hey, hey, hello, everybody. Thanks for coming over. And everyone, hit the subscribe button on Paula's channel here, Van Vita.
Oh,
Boost
Russ,
that
thank you.
channel. Yeah. If you're RVerTV guys, you know where to hit it. Hit that subscriber. We got to boost her channel and get some views going.
You
So,
know, that is greatly appreciated. Thank you. And the first time I actually met you was on a live stream, and
yeah.
I was shocked that you even found my stream at all, let alone popped on the panel. That was just amazing.
Well, that was you popped up on my home page for whatever reason. In your home page of YouTube, they recommend videos, or if there's streams going, it'll show it. And you showed up in there, and I go, "Well, what's this?" And I clicked it. Next thing I know, I'm in your stream. We're all chatting, and I think we were talking about YouTube that night or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was good. It was
we
good.
covered a lot of different stuff in there. I was just looking at some of your stats on your channel, Russ. So I already knew you had over 50,000 subs,
Yeah,
but I didn't realize you have 13.3 million views on your channel.
yeah,
And 500,000 views were just in the last 28 days or 30 days.
yeah. It'll average in the summer. I'll go over 1 million. It's just insane, and I can only thank the people that watch. And I've learned through time that YouTube is all about the viewer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's totally about the viewer. And so what I try to do is produce videos for the viewer. And in my sense, my world, it's travel videos, and they see what I see. And I try to make them feel like they're in the passenger seat with me. And
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
goal.
Like I'm sitting beside
Yeah.
you riding down the road. It's like I'm looking
Yeah.
out the windshield with
Yeah,
you.
yeah, and you're pointing and looking and all that, and it's become that's my niche, and
Mm-hmm.
people that subscribe and once they get into the RV or TV style videos, they love it. I get
Mm-hmm.
emails from all over the world, from people that are just, yeah, they're stuck at home for whether medical, old age, or at work or whatever, and they just love to travel and they get to
Mm-hmm.
see stuff they'd never see before.
Well,
Kind of
and
cool.
your drone shots, Russ. Oh my God. That just
Yeah,
puts a whole different
yeah,
element to it. And you do it so well. Like you're so smooth.
yeah. Yeah, I get a lot of complaints because I don't fly it around a lot. And what people don't realize is where a lot of times where I'm launching the drone from, there's power lines, there's people, cars. And about the only thing I can do is take it up and give a panoramic view the best I
Mm-hmm.
can, and then bring it back down. And really, that's the goal of this style video in a drone. If you
Mm-hmm.
want something that's all flying all over the place, and you want a drone video itself. And so I go for the photography, the video, the picture of the scene of where I'm at and what I'm seeing.
Well,
And
even the video you dropped today with the balloon festival, I was like, and you specifically mentioned that you did have permission for flying
yeah,
your drone out there too.
yeah, I got because that was private property. As actually Indian, part of the Indian reservation casino land, and I had written permission to fly. I had written permission to fly over people. I am a licensed drone pilot. Have been for a few years now. I rarely use it. I don't get into that end. I'm not out to make a bunch of money just privately flying. But
Mm-hmm.
it, you always get permission if you can. But if you're on public land, you can fly. It just you've got to be cautious of what you're doing and not be near airports and all that. And also the software that comes with like DJI drones and all that. It's a restrictive software. They have restrictions. That drone won't launch if you're too close to a restricted area.
Yeah,
It,
my brother just
it
got
won't
one,
take.
and
Yeah,
it'll say that he's got to be within a certain distance away from the
yeah,
airport, and
yeah,
yeah.
which
I
is
don't
good.
think I could fly one. I don't think I'm skilled enough to maneuver that.
Well, I've wrecked a few, so yeah, they're expensive. Yeah,
Oh, I
but
can only imagine. I
yeah,
can only imagine.
yeah,
But your videos also, like, you've done stuff on how to, like, solar cooking and how to build it and
yeah,
step by step, or the thermometers reading the temperature. I was
yeah,
like, that is cool, Russ.
yeah. The solar cooker. I seen one of those things on some YouTube video, and it took me a month to find one. And I finally found it on eBay, and I bought it off this guy. And the thing is heavy, it's fragile, it's glass, but boy, does it work. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not a practical thing to haul around, though. And that's why I don't take it with me because it's too fragile. But
Yeah.
to set it up in your backyard, you can be a solar cooker.
Well, I know you didn't like the stove setup that you had, and you know what? That's a nice thing too, is the honesty that a person gets when we're watching your stuff. You're like,
Yeah.
if I had to do it again, this would not be the one I'd be putting in here.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I recommend to people when about builds, I've done a few builds, whether it's trailers, remodeling old motorhomes, or whatever. Go slow. Don't do everything all at once because chances are you're going to change your mind halfway through it or when you're done, and you're going to spend money twice or three times.
Yeah.
And do it to where you can actually live in it and use it for a month or two, and then you'll figure out the little odds and ends that you want to tweak and put in order and all that. Especially when you get into your furniture layout, your beds, that kind of thing. Water systems are water system and solar and all that, but the actual living areas, just like we were just talking about seating in a van, I want to be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want my
Yeah.
recliner. Yeah, so I made room for it.
Well, I think that's some really good advice that I wished I would have understood a little. Well, I mean, I would understand if I could known it a little bit better. It would have taken some pressure off me when I was working on my build, and I'm still working on it. But just now, I finally have, thanks to Badge, the way I actually want my bed setup to be.
There you
Right?
go. Yeah.
But
Yep.
it took a long time, and you watch
Yep.
these other videos, and it's like it looks nicer than my house,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I would have thrown so much money away. I've changed it so much.
Yeah. And these younger people that I don't know where they get all their dollars, but they spend a fortune in custom building these things, and they are extremely well built. The problem is it's really not a practical thing. I've lived in an RV full time over 15 years, and
Mm-hmm.
my favorite's a big motorhome. Yeah. If you're going to live in something, you're going to live in style.
Yeah.
Uh, live in something that's actually livable. To live inside of a van, you can. A lot of people do it, but for how long you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so comfort is one thing. And when they get into customizing those vans and stuff and spend all that money, it's a showpiece. They all go to their shows and beaches and show each other their little, cubby holes and gadgets. This table
Mm-hmm.
folds out, showers and all that. But
Yeah.
to actually live in it, I watched one guy. Someone caught him staying at his brother's house all the time because he didn't want to sleep in the van after he
Oh,
spent
really?
$150,000 fixing it up. And so I get a kick out of that stuff. But hey, it's their world, their thing. But that's
Yeah.
cool.
So Janice wants to know, did you find that solar cooker from Blue Van Dam?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes. Thank you. Yeah,
okay.
I couldn't remember. Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure that was his thing. And I looked
Um,
and looked, and I finally found one.
Badge would like to know, do you like the Sprinter over the Ford?
Yes, the
Yeah.
Sprinter. You got the big diesel. This thing gets 23, 24 miles a gallon. For the size of the thing, it's really good. Um,
Can
it,
you
it.
stand in there?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I got a buddy. You got 6'5" clearance inside this thing.
Oh,
And after I added the paneling, I took out a couple inches, so it's about 6'3" of clearance in here. And I'm only 5'10", so I have plenty of room. But yeah, you can stand in it. They're well built. Uh, Also, the Sprinter comes with a 220 amp alternator. The chassis and bodies are meant for motorhomes. Winnebago buys these chassis.
mm-hmm.
Other places that build Class B motorhomes. It's the same chassis, engine, cab, everything. So yeah, I really like the Sprinter. What I don't like is the cost of the maintenance on it.
Oh,
They are a little pricey because you're dealing with Mercedes parts and that kind of thing. And but overall, you can't beat it. And this thing's still under warranty, thank goodness. So
oh, that's good.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, MGM family says it's all about the luxury. Just like
yeah.
you chilling in
Well,
your chair.
yeah, comfort. Yeah, a little bit of luxury, but actually comfort. If you're comfortable, you're going to keep doing this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Even in an ambulance or whatever you have, make it comfy, make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always tweak. And once you're inside one of these things, night after night, week after week, you're going to figure out what you want, what you're
Yeah.
missing, whether it's the hot water or the towel rack or whatever. You're going to figure it out, and then you'll make it happen.
Yeah,
Makes
because
it.
it's so different for every person.
Yes, yes, very different.
So, Rob on the road would like to know, do you use anything to seal the underside of the Sprinter, Russ?
No, it came with the undercoating on it. This thing actually has a wooden floor, factory floor, and I added a insulated carpet over it. So right now it's all insulated pretty good for the best you could of a van floor. The walls here have foam insulation in it up to 3 inches thick all the way around. So it's very well insulated. And,
Okay.
but no, I don't, I had never did anything underneath, but it's all undercoated already from the factory. Yeah.
So, there was really no point then to do any more.
Not at this time. I think what he means maybe is to insulate under there. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
yeah, but no. Yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, another one of the things that I like from watching your videos is seeing all the free camping, because for me, I have no idea what that actually looks like or what to expect,
Yeah.
right? And it's quite a bit different than I actually thought it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good old desert. I mean, it's rock, cactuses. I mean, things will bite you, stick you, and all that out there. But
Oh,
it's the obvious of being free. But is it really free? I mean, you still got to haul your water out there, your propane. You got to move your rig to go empty your tanks. So, I mean, there is a cost involved in some of this stuff. But still, it's just you're out there and it's free. But all of a sudden, you look to the left or the right, and you got 50 people over here running their generator, dogs barking, you know, and over here you got a group of 20 rigs that are partying, singing karaoke, So, I mean, it's up to you what you want. And I
Mm-hmm.
did that for a few years, and it was
Yeah.
okay. I also did the Walmart parking lot thing a couple times, and that was horrible. I mean, I didn't like it. I mean, some people, they swear by it because it's free,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I'd rather $20 and go plug in somewhere and get some good rest and
Yeah.
a shower and all that.
Yeah.
So
Desert Adventures in Arizona was wondering, do you stay in the desert all winter?
no, I'm in the area, yes, all winter, and I'm either in Lake Havasu area, Quartzsite, and now I'm expanding it down to Yuma, and I'm heading over towards the Phoenix area a little bit. But yes, I'm all over because also do private work. I work for certain RV parks. I film for their websites and Facebook pages and all that. So it keeps me jumping around a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Do you notice a difference yet with the Canadians not coming?
Big
Like,
time. Yeah, the
yeah.
parks are a lot emptier. Uh, Driving down here today out of the Havasu area, normally there's a line of RVs continuous on Highway 95. And I bet I seen 3 today. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a huge notice in it right now. And they'll be missed. And also the revenue for the parks and all that, it's going to affect them for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
So Bob's Adventure was asking, who are some of Russ's favorite commenters, and are any still around from when he started?
Yeah, there is. And boy, you're going to make me remember their names. I can't remember them all, but there's people that have been with me since I had like 10 subscribers, 20 and 30. And my first 3 subscribers was me. I had 3 different Gmail accounts. So I subscribed to myself.
Well, I hope you're still hanging in there.
Yeah. Well, it made me feel better because I had you put a video out and you had 2 views on it after a week, I'm going, oh man, what am I doing? And, but then all of a sudden it pops, one person will see it. And another good way when you're very first starting out on YouTube is to get over and comment on other videos, and people will pick up on that.
Yeah.
And they'll bounce over and check out what you got. But to answer that question, yeah, there's dozens and dozens of folks that have been with me a long time. I really don't remember all their names off the top of my head. I know when I see the comment. And actually, I've had people walk up to me and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I know instantly the comment. And that happened to me in Sturgis. The guy's military. He had a little military picture in his on his Gmail, and I recognized him in a heartbeat. Right now I can't remember his first name.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
my goodness, there's 50,000 people that are following you. It's going to get a little bit difficult. But I'm sure there's different waves of people that will comment more. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have been sitting in the background watching without commenting. I know I never commented on videos for a long time myself.
Yeah, and you get that, and also you get a lot of non-subscribers that watch and comment. They don't subscribe, but they'll watch your content.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't want a bunch of subscribers in their channel because they don't want to see it pop up on their home page.
Yeah.
But they'll follow you for a while. Say like when I was up in Sturgis and I did a 8-9 video series on Sturgis this year, that got a lot of views from biker, RVer type people.
Yeah.
Well, that group kind of diminished off when I was over in Washington State on the ocean. So it all changes. And you lose subscribers too. People unsubscribe. And when that first happens to you, you kind of freak out going, oh no, what'd I do wrong? But they come and go, just like you unsubscribe. You'll subscribe to a channel for a while, watch the content you want, but then you say, okay, I'm kind of done here, and you move on.
Yeah.
And also YouTube will unsubscribe people if you don't watch someone's videos for a long time. They'll boot you right out of there.
Yeah. You know, when you had popped in on the panel live stream that I had that Saturday night, we talked a lot about, you know, the YouTube stuff. And I wouldn't mind picking your brain, but I will throw it out there. Anybody that's in the chat, if you have some questions for Russ, I would suggest you get them in there while you can, because I'm going to monopolize this man's time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, you've been in the game, you've learned everything from how to make effective thumbnails to good content to, you know, knowing how to get your information out there. What are some of the biggest tips that you have for some of us, like myself and some of us that are in the chat that are smaller channels? What is some of the things you recommend that we do at this stage?
Well, you define your goal, define what you want, define your niche. I mean, if you're going to be a live streamer, be a live streamer. If you're going to be a RV channel, then, you know, be the RV one. But or a sewing channel, a cooking, or you want to be a cooking show inside an RV. Do you want to do how to work out in an RV? You know, how to install solar on an RV? You know, you have to define it. If you throw too many things out there all at once, people get confused and they won't even come back. And you got to remember, a view is just a click. A view is just a click, which means if I click on your video and watch it for 5 seconds, that counted as a view. But
it really wasn't anyone watching.
Right. I was only on it for 5, 10, 30 seconds and gone. Mm-hmm. You know, the biggest thing you want to look at, and now everybody has access to their YouTube studio, the studio, creator studio, where they call it, and you can see audience retention. Go to audience and look at the retention, and that's going to tell you exactly how long that person or group or whoever in that video for the last 1 hour, 10 hours, whatever, how long they lasted on that video and where they dropped off. Now you go back to that video and watch it and say, why did everyone drop off right here? What did I say? What did I do?
I noticed my watch time's getting longer on my live streams, but when I went back and I looked at the analytics for each one, I was losing them within my minute intro, because I had a minute intro into my live stream and people were dropping off before the stream actually started.
Yep. Yeah. And live streaming is a different animal. Live streaming is a whole different world. YouTube looks at it differently. Advertisers look at it differently too. What you want, like if you have a live stream, say like this one here, in 6 months, is somebody going to come back and actually watch this live stream? Probably not. No. You know, if you just posted a video about Paula installing a solar system on her ambulance and a new water tank and all that in a video, 6 months from now, someone will probably come back and watch that video. And that's part of your money too. You know, you want people to come back later. A lot of my views are from older videos.
It's that evergreen content. It's always relevant to someone.
Right. And that's where your playlists come in. I know we're kind of jumping around here, but then you have playlists. Group your videos. You know, like when I do a series, like a travel series, it's the virtual tour, you know, and that was for COVID, traveling during COVID. Or I did the spring tour, which is running around the desert. Or I did the van build, which is a tour. But those are all separate playlists. I think I have 40 or 50 playlists.
Oh, you have a lot of playlists.
But also when you have a playlist, it's like posting a video twice. You have 2 times the opportunity in the YouTube algorithm to be recognized. And actually more than that, because if you have, say, like 10 videos in that playlist, if them people are searching out tag words or, you know, how to install a solar system in an ambulance, chances are that's going to pop 2 or 3 times, and they'll have a better chance of finding your channel, and you'll pick up a subscriber that way. Okay. So yeah, it's all relevant, and once again, it's all about the viewer, and it's all about how long they watch it, you know, and that's where your channel will grow.
Mm-hmm.
And once it grows, then comes the the monetization and all that. And there's not a lot of money in YouTube. There's more money in the private work out there than
Mm-hmm.
in YouTube, because YouTube, it's a probably the best unique platform to make money for an average creator to come along and say, here's my content, and you actually get paid for it, and which is good because you need revenue to keep doing the videos. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you have to, And there's also other ways you could monetize yourself, like on your channel, you could put a PayPal donate button right in here right now. You don't have to wait to get monetized.
Well, I have a tip jar set up, but it's just a teeny tiny little icon on my
Well, it needs to
channel.
be big, you know.
But I don't know if I don't, I don't know if I feel comfortable. Like I did it because I heard about it. So you go through the motions of setting it up. But this like I can feel my face turning red just
Right.
even mentioning it because I don't think I actually have brought it up on my channel to anyone that's been watching.
There's people that are going to say, "Oh, you're e-begging," and all that stuff, and fooey. What you are is, if somebody appreciates your content and they're willing to I donate to channels all the time, and I watch a lot of filmmaking programming. I watch a lot of other things besides RVing and solar.
Mm-hmm.
I watch a ton of camera gear and all that, and I'll donate because I know they had to buy that camera. They're out in the wilderness taking these pictures, and they're financing themselves, and I know what it takes to do that. And if you
Yeah.
appreciate their effort, then it's worth $2, $5, whatever. And it helps, and it helps the channel grow. And I always say that all donations, and they do whenever I get a donation in on any of uh, my streams or videos, every penny goes into future videos,
Mm-hmm.
and
What
because I
about sponsors?
that's a slippery slope. You need to get up there a little bit in your content. A sponsor can hurt your channel, because you got to realize there's advertisers on YouTube that they pay YouTube to advertise their product.
Yes.
Well, if you're sponsored by brand A, brand B doesn't want to be on them advertising, so that might hurt you. So YouTube might put a how to build a website, you know, commercial on your video instead of something that's more related to the topic of your video, maybe solar,
Mm-hmm.
tires, shock, whatever it is. And
We're
but
already getting a bunch of questions. Holy moly.
cool, bring them on.
All right. I got to back up. One of them was what kind of editing software do you use?
I use Final Cut Pro. I've been all Apple Mac based for years, and everything is done in Final Cut. Sometimes I'll use iMovie just to pre-edit,
Okay.
and it's just a faster way for me to do it. I'll pre-edit a lot of the video because what you see on my channel is about 10% of what I actually film. I never turn the cameras off. I am filming everything all the time.
That's
'Cause
something that I have to learn. I have to learn to keep the
yeah,
cameras on, whether I'm going to use
yeah,
it or not.
yeah. And a lot of people make the mistake of trying to edit while they film. And when you do that, and what I mean by that is you're trying to get that shot and stop, so you don't later on you don't have to do it in editing.
Yeah.
And but you hurt yourself because chances are you're going to miss the best shot doing that. And you're thinking more about where do I stop this instead of just filming the whole thing. Because when you re-watch what you film, you'll appreciate it more. When you're in the moment of filming, that is for me anyway. I mean, I'm intense. I'm into all these different things. So when I sit back in editing, I can actually visualize what I see, and I can, okay, wow, I'm going to bring in this drone shot at this point in this video.
Mm-hmm.
Or I didn't even see this mountain over here when I was filming, but I caught it.
Oh,
Or
okay.
a big eagle swooping in front of the camera, on
Yeah.
a drone, that's 300 feet in the air, things like that you don't see. And
Mm-hmm.
you bring it in. So, uh, to answer the question, I use Final Cut Pro. And when you get into filmmaking, and I highly recommend anyone that's into YouTube to watch a few filmmaking channels. Get some tips, lighting, and different settings on cameras, because full auto is not always the best way to go.
Mm-hmm. The next thing we have is badge. Everyone needs one as a question. Gold, and the dusty nugget. What? What are you? Is this a private joke?
Yeah, no, the Dusty Nugget is a UTV. I have a Kawasaki Mule Pro. It's a side by side, and I haul it
Oh.
around on a trailer. And I have metal detecting equipment. And right now, I probably come up with 100 excuses why I don't have the metal detector out. But it's been too hot, one thing, and
Mm-hmm.
plus I'm old. But this year I'm going to really focus, and I've been working with talk about sponsor now. I got a one. It's Mind Lab metal detectors. They're
Okay.
coming on board. They were going to be on board earlier this year, but the virus hit and everything got put on hold. Mind Lab is, I'm going to be what they call one of their creators, where I'm actually using their equipment out looking for gold in the desert, gold nuggets. And I'm going to use the Dusty Nugget, which is what I named the vehicle.
Okay.
And if you go in the channel, you'll see me in it. It's a big silver Kawasaki side by side, and I got cameras mounted on. I got GoPro mounts in 3 locations on that thing.
Oh.
I got a solar panel I can stick on top to charge batteries with, and I can even carry a small 12-volt fridge in that thing. So,
Wow. You are totally set up. That's so cool.
well, it's everything is about video with me. I mean, I'm really
Mm-hmm.
into it, and I love it. But yeah, that's a good question. The Dusty Nugget and gold, gold, gold. Yes, yes, yes.
So this one from my Win Stuff, I'm not
Oh
sure.
God, here we go.
It
Here we go.
says, Rust, my Win Stuff would like to do one of these live streams. Will you be offering this to others? So I
Uh,
don't know if they mean being on this live stream or being on one with you on your
today's
channel, or if you'll go on their channel.
okay.
They'll have to email.
Yeah. You seen today's video
Yes.
with the balloons?
Yes.
This is Kurt with my Win Stuff. Kurt
Oh, well, if
is
I look at the logo, there's a hot air balloon right there.
Yeah, that's Kurt, and he's a really really good friend. Him and Kendra,
Uh
they own a
huh.
business. They hired me 2 years ago to do a couple videos about their business, and which helped. I put their stuff on my channel, and they got customers, and they came back, and since then they've been an active customer and really good friends. That we were up
That's
in
nice.
Sturgis together. They were the ones down at Chandler at the Balloon Fest, and they invited me down. So to answer Kurt's question, I'll be offering it to you, Kurt, for a lot of money.
I love your answer,
Yeah.
Russ.
Uh,
Going Green Mom would like to know, so is it better to edit a live stream interview and post clips on certain topics? Like, I've been thinking about, I've done a lot of live streams, and there's lots of bits and pieces of information that I can edit and reduce down and zero in on key stuff and make a video after. Would you recommend that or no?
yes, and actually, what I'd recommend in a live stream, if you watch a newscast, your local news, it's
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes long or 60 minutes long. They have segments in there, and they have pre-recorded video along with live people talking. And if you think out what you apparently do, you got your notes, you've been checking my channel and everything
Well,
else.
I only have a couple little scribbles. That's it,
Yeah.
just the numbers.
But uh, if you pre plan your live stream and turn it into a show, and don't take it 5 hours, because people are not going to watch it 5 hours. I'm sorry. And that hurts you in the long run. It really does.
My Saturday ones.
No, that's fine if you want to do it with your friends. That's cool. But don't do it too often. You got to
Just not
have
for an interview.
solid content. Like we said before, you got to have something to come back to.
Mm-hmm.
You want someone to come back 6 months and watch the video about Paula putting in a solar system on an ambulance and say, "Oh, she does Saturday night live streams." And then they join that, because you got to give them something. You got to set up, put stuff on the shelves at the store. Yeah,
Yeah.
some playlists, some good solid content. And getting back to the live stream question is, yeah, pre-recorded, bringing up a shared screen. We could be talking like when you're talking the other night to your vegetable oil guys that do the schoolies.
Mm-hmm.
It was all talk. If they would have had a picture of the bus, the engine, even something they could have held up while you're talking, a visual, and
Yeah.
people will engage with that better. And but yeah, to answer a question, yeah, and edit them down. You betcha. I'd get them down to like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Go through and just pop in whatever's popular for you.
The only time I've done that with a live stream so far was one of my beginning ones. It was a 5-hour live stream, but I cut it down into 38 minutes because there was a lot of different creators sharing a lot of different information that I didn't want to forget.
No, and you're learning, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just realize you want to be monetized someday, and you want to grow your channel.
Yes.
To grow your channel, you're going to have to be like everyone else who grows their channel. You're going to have to, once again, it's all about the viewer. You can keep that stuff recorded on a hard drive and watch it later. Create something that's pleasable to watch for the viewer. And if it's only an engaging thing about vegetable oil making your schoolie smell like a French fry when it goes down the road, which is a good comical way to bring it in. Remember that comment I left saying, what smells better, McDonald's or Burger King oil? You got to lighten it up because no one was smiling. You got to get the people engaged and get the audience engaged in a live stream.
Yeah.
And I'm learning too. I'm using Ecamm in some of my latest live streams. I'll pre-edit a 3 to 4 minute video, and you can probably do it in this StreamYard. You can probably play a video while you're streaming. Yeah. And you can take the people out, play the video, and then you can do the voiceover of the video. Well, this is me going to the store, show your town you're living in, show the surroundings, show different RV people, or you can even play a clip from someone else's channel.
I would have to have their permission for that part, though, right? Even if I had them in for the interview. Because I've had a couple lately where they've sent me in some photos so we can actually look at some pictures while we were having the discussion.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it with videos. I know I've seen other live streams play videos within them, though.
Yeah. Can you hear this? Can you hear this?
Is there kids playing outside?
No, that's the applause. I'm using my live streaming software to stream to you. It's called Ecamm.
I couldn't tell what the noise was.
Yeah, there's a bicycle horn and that kind of. Anyway,
you're just a big kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love it. You can utilize cross promote. I'm going to go next week I'm driving 5 hours to Sholo. There's another gentleman by the name of Hobotech, and he has a channel about my size. He's got like 70,000 viewers or subscribers, and he does RV technical reviews on equipment. Him and I are going to start collaborating. I'm travel. He's the products, so we're going to start collaborating, and that's another good thing you could do with different people in your area, especially in Canada. You're up in a unique area, like the schoolie guys. That was great. What was the guy's name? Badge
and Jax. Yeah. I have a bunch of videos actually coming out. Well, one came out, but I have actually 2 and then 3 more coming up from the weekend that I spent out in Alberta with him and his wife.
Oh, load them. I mean, just crank out the videos right now. The just pop them out every day and just keep
Oh,
doing it.
I'm still working a full-time job, Russ.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, oh, too bad. Just get them out there.
Suck it up.
Just get them out, get it out there, because the more you have out there, the more chances are someone's going to see something and get over to your channel and hit that
True.
subscribe button.
That's
And
true.
as much as you can. I know I worked the first 3 years of YouTube full time too, and there was a time and place when I hit 10,000 subscribers that I almost quit YouTube, and I didn't post about 10 videos for a year
Really?
because
Why?
I was working 16-hour days full
Oh,
time, and I was just burned out. And then when that job went away, it was a temporary job anyway. When it went away, I started reactivating the YouTube, and then I was still halfway doing it. And I turned RVerTV full time in November of 2018, 2 years ago this month. And since then, I had 12,000 subscribers that time, and so in 24 months, it's generated what
it's
30.
grown a crazy
And
amount.
it's really going to start even growing even more, because I'm going back to school. I'm starting a 8-week class here on the YouTube analytics and all that. So keep pushing it, and you will make money, and you will turn it into a little business. And it's good. Not everyone gets rich on YouTube, believe me, but you can actually make a living doing it if you want.
That would be nice. It would be nice to be able to do it so a person can travel more, because I want to travel. I really want to travel. And then this
Yeah.
pandemic has gotten in the way. But I mean, it's affected everyone. Blind Views actually asked this question twice because I didn't address it earlier. Content, quality or quantity, does equipment matter?
Yes. Yes, and yes, and yes. Content, quality. Oh, you betcha. I have, since day one, I've always spent the money that I didn't have on good quality cameras and stability of your shot. If you have a jerky shot, this is your camera. And if you're moving it fast and like this and up and down, well, the viewer's going like this all over the place going. They're getting seasick.
I might have caused some whiplash in a couple
Yeah.
of my videos.
So that is a really, really good question. So on your content, you definitely want good content. Think it out. I think out everything. A video is a story. A video is like a mini movie. It can be a minute long or an hour long. And once again, we'll get back into the film. Go back in YouTube. There's tens of thousands of channels on filmmaking, and definitely filmmaking. And filmmaking is all about a story. You got a beginning, middle, and end. The beginning's your intro. Hi, I'm Paula. Welcome to my ambulance, and that. But the middle is the actual story. Today we're installing solar panels and this water tank and all this system, and making my bus smell like a French fry when I drive it. And then the end is your outro. And what you're going to do is say what's coming up next. You're going to say, well, coming up next, we're going to, put new pink mirrors on my thing and new curtains over here, and see you next time. So you kind of left them a reason to come back,
Okay.
And but definitely check into some type of filmmaking. Beginning.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, but that was a great question. Very good. And yeah, quality, quantity. I mean, if you don't have the quality with the quantity, they're not going to watch. People click off in a second.
Yeah.
And once again, we'll go back to the click. Is a view. You got click, but how long are they going to stay there? And that's where you get into your audience retention. And that's all in the analytics of your creator studio. And YouTube in the last couple of years has really expanded the analytics. That's, matter of fact, that's the school I'm going to middle of November. That's all about analytics.
Are you going to put some videos out on some of the stuff you've learned after?
Yeah, I'll actually teach it. Yes.
Good.
And I'm being taught by probably one of the YouTube's top creators. This guy has 34 billion views. He has
Wow.
an advertising agency. He's got like 21 gold plated buttons, which are a million. He's got 40 YouTube. Plus, he works with some of the top creators that are on YouTube right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't cheap, but I was able to get into one of his classes, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and yes, I will share it. You betcha. Yeah,
That'd
absolutely.
be good. That'd be very good because I
Yeah.
have a lot to learn. But did you ever feel overwhelmed, Russ, when you first started with how many different things a person has to learn?
Yes.
Okay,
I
good. I mean,
still
not good
do.
that you went through that, but like makes me feel a little more normal.
Yeah. Well, it's like any business. You got growing pains. When you start, any business, you have a business plan, a model, and all that. Well, in the YouTube world, everything changes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the quality of the videos at YouTube, all the YouTube rules and regulations change. You can't put this out anymore. If you're a kids channel or, different content about guns or whatever, violence, gaming is a big one. And so you always got to keep adapting and changing it. And yeah, I felt overwhelmed many, many times. And it makes you stop. It did me a few times. I mean, I'm in over 5 years now. And like I told you, I shut it down almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I did. At the time it hurt the channel, but the channel survived it. And it came back, and now it's really rock solid. I'm very proud of RVerTV. I've kept the content extremely G-rated as travel. I'm not zero politics. I don't do any of that stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about travel, and it's all about the viewer, letting the viewer ride in the van with me while we go see Old Faithful or some mountain or boondock in the desert, whatever it is, or the Dusty Nugget looking for gold nuggets. But
Well, I was looking at your thumbnails, just kind of glancing over them, and I've noticed that you have a system. I mean, everyone is a little bit varied because
yeah,
of the photo, but there's certain colors that you use, two
yes,
certain colors, where you put is a little bit different, but I can tell now at a glance that it's one of your videos.
yes,
Built that consistency into there.
yeah,
But
and
it's a fine line. Like, how do you do that? Because you're all still you look unique, yet there's a consistent pattern.
practice, and once again, analytics. There's something in there called the click-through rate, and a click-through rate is the rate of if someone sees your thumbnail,
Mm-hmm.
what's the rate of the amount of people that see it that actually click it? And
Mine's
that's
6% right now.
yeah, and that's about average.
Okay.
Some of my videos get up to 20, 30, and they want you to have 50 or 60 click through when the video first comes out.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
it will average down to that 6%. But when a video first pops, you want a click through rate as high as possible. And they say if you're above 10%, you're okay. And I'll learn more of this when I take this class too. That's part of what that is. And also the consistency of the thumbnail, the look, it kind of brands you. You got to brand yourself. Like I have RVerTV,
Mm-hmm.
RVerTV. Everything's RVerTV,
Yeah.
and also the intro music. I try to stick with the same thing for a long time, and I use nothing but YouTube music. That way, I'd never get into a copyright issue.
Yeah. See, and
And
I'm still trying to figure out what I want to use. Like today, I was playing around a little bit with logos. I'm trying to get feedback, and I was getting all kinds of feedback so much that I withdrew some of the questions I put on my Facebook. But like, I'm trying to find the way I want to create my look and to keep it, because I do see the consistency in yours, and I don't have that at this point.
well, and you will. I mean, but the sooner the better. And you can be consistent every year. You can change the appearance of your thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
If after a while, if people get bored and they're not, reacting to them, then change them up. Switch your color, switch the text size. You can switch a lot of things. Some people like to go on a thumbnail and you'll see them with their mouth open going, like that.
Yeah. The
You know,
pictures that I try not to use.
and for a while that worked, but after a while you're thinking, screw it, I'm going to keep going. And that was the niche for a while on thumbnail. And some people it works. If
Yeah.
their content is something a little crazy or off, because there's a lot of these guys are internet marketers. They're not RV channels or travel. They're internet marketers selling websites, trying to sell you, gadget software, or whatever. So them guys get very competitive, and so they get pretty, wild hair, or, something that really brings you in. But also, you got to be very careful if the thumbnail over exaggerates the
Because
video.
that'll turn someone right off. They're going to be like, that wasn't even what they're promoting.
Right. It's the old term clickbait. Same with title. If you click it and it's clickbait, then the people get, ticked off at you.
Yeah.
They're gone forever. They're not coming back. And that's what you don't want. So you got to keep it fairly consistent. I always try with the drone, I'm able to get fairly decent pictures that I can actually pull a still picture out of the video, screenshot it.
Yeah.
And then I use a lot of that in my clip art. I used a program called Canva, Canva, and it's free, and you can it's got pre-designs in it, and you can create all kinds of beautiful thumbnails in there. And they got a lot of free designs, and you can use it. And you can get the paid version, which is like $12 a month. It's called Canva Pro, and you can create. It gives you a library of all kinds of thumbnail designs, and
that's what you use?
Oh yeah, religiously. Every single thumbnail is designed and built in Canva. Some people use Photoshop. Depends what you're into. I used to have Photoshop, but it was kind of complicated. I used to do a lot of photography way before the video days. I was into photography most of my life, and I did as an amateur. When my daughter was little, I had a video camera the size of a suitcase. I'd be at the softball game. I'd be at the softball game, say, "Look at Daddy," and she'd be out there going, "No, no." But now she cherishes those, and had them digitized actually, and which is cool. But and so that kind of photography always had the eye that get the shot, the sunset. Sunsets are great, mountains, anything that's colorful, anything that contrasts.
Yeah.
Like in a drone shot when I'm flying over the desert, but there's a body of water, that blue is such a contrast to the brown of the desert. It makes a beautiful picture. And then you can actually enhance it, put it in a photo type software, and you can enhance the colors if you want.
Okay.
But thumbnails are extremely important because that's the first thing they see in your video. It's almost most important.
Yeah, it's the first thing to draw them in. But I was just thinking too, within a whole lot of travel communities, we've kind of created a bit of a family. Like a lot of the other channels that are in here watching right now, we're very supportive of one another. So I guess one of the things that you highlighted is if we're seeing one of our other channels, sister brother channels, putting a video out, we need to go watch it right away if we want to help support them, right?
Yeah.
Because you want the click-through rate to be high. So if we're all doing that with each other, we're all helping each other get a chance to get it pushed more. Right?
Yeah, but be careful. YouTube knows it's artificial intelligence, and some people, what they'll do is they'll start looping their own videos to keep it playing over and over again to try to gain hours. And YouTube knows that, and they'll actually penalize you for that.
But they'll know if a certain group of your subs are going in and watching your video right away?
Well, no. Well, yeah.
That wouldn't matter?
No, they'll actually show it on their home page, but if they're doing it over and over again,
Oh,
If that,
not repeatedly watching
yeah,
it, but I mean
right.
watching it as soon as it comes out.
Oh yeah, no, that's what you want. That's
Yeah.
what you want. But if they're in there playing it over and over again just to gain
Oh,
hours of the views, then a lot of people do that. But
yeah.
YouTube will pick up on that.
Yeah, it
And
doesn't count all the watch time.
well, it'll count, but when you get into the monetization of it, then it really counts. Because YouTube
Mm-hmm.
gets really picky of where they place the ads. They got in a lot of trouble a few years back, of putting ads on a lot of videos that shouldn't have had ads on it to begin with. And
Oh.
and then they also got in a lot of trouble with kid channels, kids being exploited and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so since then, they've changed their rules and regulations and all that to be extremely strict when it gets into the monetization world.
Yeah.
That's why you're better off going with a YouTube music, guaranteed copyright free. And their music is not the best, but you'll find something that'll fit.
Well,
And
my son makes some music, and I finally convinced him to make one short track, just a background. So I'm trying to get him to make a few more, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm for sure going to be safe. Because he made it in the basement. It should be all right.
And a lot of people, they'll get an intro made, and like you go to a thing like Fiverr,
Mm-hmm.
Fiverr, you can get like for $100, you'll get an intro made, welcome to, Vida Travels, and then their van,
I need
your,
your voice for the background of
then your,
that.
then your ambulance explodes into a picture, and, they're just cool intros.
Oh,
And
that'd be
just be
neat.
creative. Just be
Yeah.
creative with it, and you'll have fun. You'll have
Yeah, I
fun with it.
definitely have to learn to be a little more creative.
Yeah.
I just want to highlight, at one point I noticed we were up to 71 people watching, and do you know, Russ, that is my all-time high so far in a live stream.
Yay!
Woo, woo,
Yay!
woo. Yeah,
Yay!
65 right now. So if anybody out there wants to help it grow and feels like sharing it out, by all means, feel free while I got them here. I do have another question for you, and that's about how many of my subscribers are watching my stuff. So at first I thought this was good, but now I don't think it is. 80% of my stuff is watched by my subscribers. So to me, it feels like I'm building a base, a community that is watching my stuff, but only 19.5% is out non-subscribers. So my content's not getting pushed out then, is it?
No, it's not. Well, it is, and it's not.
Well, not a whole lot.
No, but you're still a young channel, and that's why we'll go back to the point of cranking out some content, fill those playlists, get a lot of videos on there, and the more the merrier. You just can't just put it out there, even if they're only 2 or 3 minutes, because you're not monetized right now,
No.
and just crank them out. And
short and sweet, but just keep them coming.
and not live stream. Yeah, and also
Not-
you can also live stream a recorded video. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you could sit there on the chat and still chat with the people as that.
Oh, like a premiere.
Yes, but you could do it yourself and actually pop in at the end of it and say, "Hey, how'd you like it?" or whatever. And it's just a different way to do your live, and it'll engage the audience and also make it fresh instead of 4 talking heads talking the same thing. One guy's going like this, the other guy's looking at his phone, and
You've watched my Saturdays.
and yeah, but I only watch it for like 3 minutes. And
hey, I wanted the truth. That's
yeah,
right.
well, but once again, that's how you grow a channel. That's your questions here. And to grow a channel, you got to do it. And you're thinking, well, if I'm not on there for 4 hours, I'm losing out. You're not. You're gaining if it's only 40 minutes. And then do your recorded stuff.
With the live streams, Russ, I was doing interviews like 5 days a week initially, and then I cut it back to 2 days a week in one panel, my Saturday nights. And now it very quickly, I cut my work in half, and I was still getting the same amount of views or more. I think it got to the point, like I reached a few people, but they were getting bored of it coming up every day and don't want to watch it every day.
Exactly. There, bingo. There you go. And it's all about audience retention and your content quality. Like that question a while back, that was a really good question about, quantity or quality and all that and content, and quality, quality, quality. Like when I guess you're still using the high def feature, high definition of your
On my
StreamYard.
StreamYard?
Yeah.
No, that was I have there's two paid versions, right? There's the first
Yeah.
paid and then there's the professional. And I got a week trial of the high def, which really stood out a lot.
Yeah.
But that's $39 US a month. So I'm looking at over $50 a month Canadian.
Okay. Try Ecamm. Are you on an Apple Macintosh? Do you use Apple?
No, I'm on an Acer laptop.
Okay.
And I could try to do it on my phone. The images would be a lot better. You'd see every damn wrinkle there is. But I don't know how to read and pull up the comments on my phone.
Yeah. Well, don't know.
I'd have to learn.
But is the extra $20 a month worth the views? And I say yes. Once again, you're growing your channel. This is an investment. And if you put out a little bigger tip jar, say, look, I want to give you a better quality content. If you appreciate this content, here's the tip jar. And that's all you got to say. You don't have to keep promoting it. You can sell get some stickers made. I give them all away free now. Most of them free now. But I used to sell them, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if anybody wants to send me a self-addressed envelope, I'll mail them a sticker. I'll give you the address. But, there's all kinds of ways to generate money, and also private work. We talked about that. Go around to some local businesses and do a video for their Facebook page. Do a video for them on YouTube. And doesn't have to be your channel. It could be theirs. You got the camera.
I think Ray with Van Life Rocks, when he was on, he was talking about doing some additional work like what you're describing.
Yeah.
And you do that as well.
Yeah, and I used to do more of it. I kind of funneled it down to, I don't want to do 10 RV parks. I'd rather do 2, because also I'm putting my name on them. And if someone goes there and doesn't like to stay, they're going to say, hey, place is a dump, or something like that. And I don't want that to come back on me. And, another thing I got here, not about the last year or so, is people say, why don't I show where I camp? And I will if it's a public area. But if it's a private campground that I actually paid to stay there, and most time I pay to stay, I don't go in as RVerTV. It's just, I just need a place to plug in. And they say, well, we review our park and all that. And I go, no. Because
really?
I've had that come back and bite me a few times. You're filming and you showed somebody else's rig. We didn't want to be on YouTube. And the park didn't get, even though the park gave you permission, you didn't get permission for them people. And it kind of got a little stinky a couple times. And after that, I just said, I ain't doing it no more. If the park wants to hire me to come in, and then, okay, I'll stay there, but they're going to pay me. And also, I want like a contract. I have a contract. And it's pretty simple about copyright, permissions, and all that. And they're responsible to go around to everybody and say, hey, we're filming. If no one wants to be on camera, go hide. Yeah. Because this guy's
so that takes all that liability off of you.
Right. And then I'll do it. And that's what I have now with a couple RV parks. And I just go in there and film. And I don't focus in on people. I'm not there to focus in on someone's license plate or vehicle, but it's going to be in the shot no matter what. Yeah. But also you're focusing on the features of the RV park. And with a drone, you can do a lot. You can fly all over, fly up and down the aisles. Then you show screenshots of their laundry rooms and all that kind of thing, and give them like a 2-minute commercial. And you can put on their website. You can put the titling in the the video of their website and how to contact them, Facebook, and a lot of people do it. Like I recommend all the time Arizona Sun, which I stayed there and I really like the place
Mm-hmm.
here in Quartzsite, and they get quite a bit of business off those videos, which is good, you know. And
Yeah.
they're good people and reasonable rates, and it's a very nice park. And I've been doing them for 4 years now. Yeah, so good people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kevin from Flint was wondering if you know if Big Top and vendors will be in Quartzsite as in the past.
Yeah, he's talking about the big tent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the big tent's going to be set up. They issued their show dates. Tyson Wells has issued their show dates as well. Vendors are actually setting up at Tyson Wells. The problem with the big tent, and they're dealing with the city here in Quartzsite, is the virus and the COVID. They got to meet a lot of requirements, so they're going to limit the amount of people in at a time into that big tent.
Yeah, Desert
That
Adventures says it's open, but with modifications for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and it's definitely going to be there. Personally, once you go through that big tent, it's a lot of Vegematics and made in China stuff. There is some RV related things, but I know the owner, Kenny King.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sorry.
yeah, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go, go, go. You're
Yeah,
awesome. I'm just, there's just so much. My brain's got to slow down and let you talk.
yeah. No, and but to answer the question, yes, the big tent's going to happen. Quartzsite's happening. What's happening too is Quartzsite for years in January, a lot of groups, and they're all different kind of ham radio groups, certain kind of travel trailers, casitas, airstreams. They all meet out in the desert. A lot of those groups have canceled their events, but they will still be here. It's just not going to be a formal event, and then that way they're not in breaking the rules of the COVID. And that
Oh, because if it's a formal event, they're liable for different things then.
right, then they got to do the sanitation 6 foot apart and all
Yeah,
that.
that makes
So,
sense.
so basically, Quartzsite is open. It's going to be open for the whole month of January, but a lot of the groups have canceled, and we'll see. I mean, it's going to be the best it can be. Like all the Canadians not coming down, too, is
Mm-hmm.
going to affect it because that's a huge draw for a lot of the snowbirds coming down. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So if we go back to the videos, and I can hear myself echoing a little bit. Ron Darrell Adventures asks, loud music is a big turnoff to him, but how important is the video? Is it to the video? Like, should we be playing music in the background? Not playing music in the background on our videos? What's your
Yes.
opinion on that?
Yeah, I firmly believe in music. It just adds a little ambiance to the video. Once again, look at TV shows, look at commercials, look at anything on television that you consume and you watch, and you actually watch it. Chances are there's some kind of low, not loud, background music in there. If it's about a bicycle, it's a little upbeat. If it's about a Hallmark card for a birthday, it's a little sad. So it's all different. But
That's how you
yeah,
know something scary is going to happen in a horror
right,
movie because the way the music kind of builds
right.
that anticipation for
Yeah,
it.
music adds ambiance. It adds to the story, and you'll spend almost as much time researching music as you will anything else when you're looking for music for your channels and your videos, because it has to match the story. A lot of people, they'll stick in some wacky song that doesn't even match the theme of the video, and it's a
Yeah.
huge turnoff. And that was a great comment or great question that
Yeah.
was posted. And so yeah, loud is not good either, because then you're scaring the people. A lot of people watch with ear or have earphones on, so that's a
That's
little
true.
sensitive. And also audio, you could have some shaky, not so good a video, uh, but if the audio is bad, they're going to click off that video in 2 seconds. You know, if they can't hear it, they're going to click off quicker with bad audio than they will with bad video. So
Yeah.
that's something else to think about when you're creating. And after a while, you know, you think, well, it's a lot, but it becomes a routine. Like I have a set, you know, um, I don't know what you want to call it, procedure or whatever that I go through with each video. And
Mm-hmm.
also, each video I pre plan at least a week in advance. I pre
Okay.
plan a screenshot usually, or I attempt to, the screenshot for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
I think about that almost first. Sometimes the thumbnail is the video.
So
And
you kind of pre-plan all that, but like you said before, you keep all the cameras still running because it
yeah,
catches that other stuff.
right. And I don't mind
Okay.
editing. It's not tedious to me. Some people hate it. Um, it's time consuming. And anymore, though, I kind of know where the good stuff is because I filmed it.
Yeah.
And so I can jump to it and pull it down. But I have everything in Final Cut Pro, and I start pulling in the pieces into the timeline, swapping them around a little bit, and there's the video.
Yeah.
Then people will say, well, do you do voiceover all the time? Or I say both. A lot of times I have a lapel mic hooked to a audio recorder, and I'm recording myself talking and yelling at cars and all that going on.
I
But
like
if
to hear what it all sounds when it sounds like when it's not edited.
but yeah. Um, there goes the G rating. But
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
you do both. I mean, you got to clean it up. Whatever works with the scene, you know. And we go back to the filmmaking thing, the story, beginning, middle, and end.
Mm-hmm.
Every video, beginning, middle, and end story, whether it's 3 minutes, 30 minutes, and you keep to that theme. And then same way with the audio. Like sometimes I'll really screw up on roads or directions and all that, and then I'll go in a voiceover and correct it. And I try to mix the ground noise and all that so it doesn't sound so much like a voiceover.
Oh, you keep an element of that there. You just
Yeah,
pull the volume down and the
yeah,
voiceover's
yeah,
louder.
yeah. And Final Cut is really good with that.
Ah,
Yeah, Final
yeah.
Cut is really good with mixing audio. And I don't overdo. I mean, once again, they're YouTube. You know, also I'm on Roku. I have a Roku TV channel, RVerTV, and there's like
What's
200.
Roku?
It's a internet television like Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV. Then you got
Okay.
Roku, and Roku is in households. You can't get it online. It's all in households, and I think I'm up to 14,000 installations in homes now, and they consume it. Now, my website is an actual Roku video player that plays 24 hours a day videos, and it has a Netflix type uh, setup, and that's a monetized thing too. And but that you pay for.
Okay.
That's kind of expensive. But anyway, in there you can enhance. Some of the videos in there are a lot longer because it's not a YouTube format. There's no comments. There's nothing. It's actually like watching TV, and
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of streaming hours out of that, and that's worked very well. But it's
So, have you ever done anything with podcasts too? Because I mean, you do have a really great voice. Is that something that you've done or considered?
well, yeah, but I consider a video my podcast. You know, I'm out of
Yeah.
time, and podcasts there's a ton of editing in those. And you talk about music, going back to a lot of music in a podcast or fast pace. Um, they're good. They're fun to do,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, I'd rather if I ever got back into that, I have an account on SoundCloud, and I had like, I don't know, 8 or 10 podcasts out there, and they got a little bit of traction. But how many times are you going to talk about emptying a sewer tank in an RV? Yeah. Yeah, and you really got to come up with a lot of, and in a video you can use creation of the visual.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So a picture says 1,000 words. So in a podcast, all you're doing is talking, and people are listening. Now, if you're engaged in a good interview or something like that, then yeah, a podcast would do good. But right now, I don't even have the time, for it.
No, you are pretty busy.
Yeah.
So, going back to those stats I pulled up about your channel at the beginning, like, so the last month was 500,000 views, Russ. If that would have been consistent, 6 months would have done that for your 13 million. So obviously it's really starting to snowball. Like,
Yeah.
is there something that you changed or a different topic, or like, what do you attribute to that huge amount of growth so quickly?
One is COVID. When the virus hit, a lot of people were stuck at home, so they watched more. And I noticed a spike there. But also was the content. Last year, I figured out, remember, I turned this full time 2 years ago.
Okay.
And a lot of the DIY type videos weren't fitting for me because I'm not the best at it. I'm not one to really detail a green wire and a black, stick it in there and make it work. But in the travel, I really enjoy it, and that's where it shines. So last year, I did a travel series. I went on the road 3 months, and that spiked. That really went up there. I did Sturgis. I came back, and it went like a rocket. So
how often were you putting out videos in that 3 months?
Daily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 20-minute videos daily. But
20 minutes, was that longer or shorter than normal for you?
Well, that's about average.
Okay.
To tell the story I want to tell is averages, the least is 15 and it goes up to 30. And that kind of fits. But to get back to your question, so the end of 2019, I said, I got to travel again. And then I got this van, and this year was going to travel. And what really took off was I just went ahead and went for it this summer and called it the virtual vacation. And away we went. And I just went for it. And also, I gave up on going to museums and all that stuff. I went back, small towns and back roads. And that's what I've filmed. And it turned out well.
I guess that's not the typical thing that people are showing.
No, it's not. And people really got hooked on it. If I missed one day, I'd have 10 emails. There's no video. They're mad. Where's our video? We live by it. I tease a lot. A couple retirement homes say they have like 40 of their residents in a cafeteria watching RVerTV on big screens, and they send me pictures of it.
That's pretty awesome.
It's motivating. It's very motivating. Yeah. And I get letters from these people. And I get letters from all over different countries, Scotland, England, Japan, everywhere, how they enjoy the videos. And so that motivates me to do more. So getting back to answer your question about the views, yeah, and that's why next year it's even going to be, I'm already planning to leave in February.
What's coming?
It's going to be a South Coast run clear across the United States. And
like north of Mexico?
Yeah, it'll be all U.S. I won't go out of the U.S., but probably go down into Florida and then up the East Coast. If it's all allowed with the COVID. I mean, there's still a little bit, but I will travel. But plans are, I'm already looking at routes, looking at locations to stop, all of it. And I know some other YouTubers that live in Key West, Florida, which is at the very, very end as far as you can go.
Oh, wow.
So that'd be the goal of the trip, to end up out there in the Keys. So be cool.
You know, this is a little off topic, but what scares me all the time when I'm watching everybody in the southern states, which I mean, I want to go to, there is either snakes or scorpions or gators now if you're going all the way over there.
Yeah.
Is it true that the snakes and scorpions will more like hibernate come the winter months when most of us Canadians would want to come?
Yes.
So, what would be the odds of me, running across a snake
Well, you'd
in
wake up.
January?
Not much. He'd be hidden in a rock or buried somewhere, and they hibernate. They sleep for the winter. So it's when it first heats up, then they come out and they'll get warm and they go out and try to find food. And you got to realize a lot of these snakes they don't want to be around you as much as you don't want to be around them. They're gonna.
Oh, that's good because they don't like me then because I don't like them.
Yeah.
It is a hate relationship, I'm hoping.
Yeah. Scorpions, you got to be careful and all that too. So
yeah, no. Little Mr. Van Life Rocks here has been putting little videos out about, like snakes and scorpions, and I'm just like, ooh. No. Oh my gosh, snakes leave you alone as long as you don't step on them. Okay, well, I don't want to be that close.
Yeah, they make good
reptiles. Oh, you didn't see any gator sunning today. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, freaks me out.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but yeah, no, it's the same. You always got to know your surroundings in the desert. The desert, it's a harsh place. I mean, you got cactuses with big needles on them. You can get stuck, but that's part of being in the desert. Enjoy it. And a lot of it's all paths and it's safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of that's just so different to me compared to being up here in Canada.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But you know what? Just like you said before, but I don't know. I get out in Canada, it's a different place. And to me, I guess I take for granted that this is what I know, but not everybody else does. So I need to try to see it through someone else's eyes.
Yeah.
Right? And then maybe that would help me, with a lot more content that would be of interest to people.
Every year I get, I don't know how many people that come to Quartzsite saying I would have never come here if it wasn't for your videos. And they even know the places I shout out on Main Street. Yeah, we just drove past the restaurant on Main Street and seen the High Jolly Monument. And, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And some don't like it. They say, well, I'm never coming back, but we got to see it. Because Quartzsite's not for everybody.
No.
They might like Yuma. They might like El Centro. They might like going around Tucson, Tombstone. There's a lot of other areas to go to down here besides Quartzsite.
Yeah. I guess the most I hear in my area is about people going to Yuma. That's what I hear a lot.
It's a huge Canadian hangout down there with them. And also Palm Springs and Indio. It's tons of Canadians over there.
This is an interesting comment from Rick Travis. In Canada, you have to worry about grizzlies and wolves, though. I guess it's how the world's presented. Bears and grizzlies have never, ever been a problem in my life.
Yeah.
Bears, there are certain precautions that you do have to take. In some places, there's a higher risk. But I've never been out and about and just had a bear there. Because I know, right?
Yeah.
I know what are signs of a bear.
Yeah. I think the worst thing you got to watch out for in the desert's like the humans, the two-legged snakes and the scorpions and all that. There's a lot of riffraff that comes into the desert too. A lot. You'll see it down here, and they're their own, world and their own beliefs. They're like cults or whatever you call them, but they camp to themselves. But you still got.
Is it like that whole Slab City thing, or is there other groups is there other areas that have that?
Some are called rainbow people, some are called different things, and I don't knock them. I mean, that's their life. Some are old hippies. I mean, it's just some of them are doctors and lawyers, but like to do the dreads and the flower child thing in the winter,
Hmm.
and kind of like Sturgis, a lot of the bikers up there aren't full-time bikers.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know a lot of bikers and you'd be surprised at first.
yeah,
Any person of any background can hop on a bike and go for a
yeah,
ride if they want to,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all in, like in the long-term visitor areas. There's so many people out there that everything's kind of beaten down. It really is. You got to get way out there
Mm-hmm.
to get away from people. Like we said earlier, about, you look to the right and here's 10 trailers with a generator blaring. To the left, everyone's singing karaoke. And behind you, there's 10 dogs barking. And, so welcome to the desert, you know.
But that's another thing too. I mean, where do you find the balance? Because do you feel it's riskier if you're all out on your own somewhere random, or do you want to be around a group of people? Do you find that there is any safety in that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and RVer community itself, they all kind of look out after each other. I mean, if you're broke down, someone's going to help you and all that. And like around Quartzsite, you have BLM rangers, Bureau of
Mm-hmm.
Land Management, the police. You got federal police that patrol those areas, and they got staff that works there, volunteer staff to run around in four-wheelers. So yeah, they especially on the long term, you pay to be there. Everyone has to have a sticker on their vehicle.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's safe. Uh, in your dispersed areas where you're out there on your own a little bit, you want to know your surroundings. If someone pulls into you that you don't feel comfortable, move. You know,
Yeah.
that's part of being. You got the key in the ignition, turn it and go. There's thousands and tens of thousands of acres, hundreds of square miles of desert. Go find another little place.
I guess that is an advantage is that, yeah, you can turn your key and go and
Same,
move.
same way in an RV park or wherever. If you don't
Um,
like it, move.
there was a question way back in the chat that asked something to the effect of, can you tent camp out there yet? Do people
Yes,
tent camp out in the desert?
yes. They live in their cars, under tarps, under the stars of the sleeping bag, in tents. You betcha. There's no restriction on that.
Huh.
That's just part of being in the desert and the BLM and all that.
Well, I guess it's the same too when we go camping. There's lots of ways that we can do it. Although we don't have. Badge explained it to the best way that I've heard it is in the U.S. Your BLM land is public lands and ours are government lands, and there's a
Yeah,
big difference in how
yeah,
that's handled for where we can legally go and camp.
yeah, yeah. I know there's restrictions up there, but yeah, it's. Uh, but once again, in Quartzsite, if you come here and you look at some of my older videos of drone shots, it's a sea of RVs as far as you can see. I mean, there's thousands of rigs,
Mm-hmm.
thousands everywhere, and it's that packed. So you're almost walking on top of each other, you know.
Aye, aye.
Yeah, and that's how crowded it is. So, um,
Well,
it,
it won't be this year.
well, no, there'll
But
be
a lot of
people.
people are tired of isolating too, and they're gonna want to go somewhere
Yeah,
somehow.
and there's a huge U.S. following here too. So there's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, but it won't be near what it is with all the snowbirds.
Mm-hmm.
And like in Yuma, a lot of the snowbirds, a lot of them have park models. They drive down in their cars.
Yeah.
They
Well,
have
those
trailers.
ones, will they be able to fly in then?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think they can.
Yeah. But the ones like me, no. SOL.
Yeah, that's too bad. And yeah, I don't see it getting any better for a while.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but not for a while. It's a temporary situation, and I think it's a time where a lot of people, like you said before, are watching channels on YouTube to learn about things and dreaming of things that they want to do and places to go, and that's where your channel really, really does come in handy right now.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I try hard. I mean, it's part of it. It's part of the niche. My initial goal has never changed. I've had the same idea of travel. You're right along with me. I don't like being on camera. I
Mm-hmm.
want the the view to be on camera, and it's never going to change. And that's part of
Yes.
what it is on RVerTV. A lot of people, they like holding that camera in their face, and they'll say, "I'm in Yellowstone. Isn't this fun? Look at it." Well, you see them, so you're looking around them. You know, I don't see it, and that's our style. And a lot of people like that too because they want to interact with that person. They're
Yes.
not really interacting with the location,
Yeah.
even though that person claims they're there. So, and that's just not what I do.
I'm noticing a bit in the chat. I have the greatest people in the chat, Russ. Like, I have a very small channel, but like one person will ask a question while we're discussing something, and like 5 or 6 people give them an answer.
Cool.
Right? Like, it's amazing. You talked about the tip jar. Going Green Mom's been dropping the link throughout the chat for my tip jar. You know, my moderators are saying hello to everyone coming in and dropping your link repeatedly.
Good.
And to remind everyone as well, I mean, most of you know Russ anyways, but by some strange chance, you didn't. The link to his channel is also in the video description below, just so that you know that that's always there. Just
Cool.
wanted to make
Thank
sure
you.
I had it out there. I do feel like there is a lot of community that I have kind of found throughout this pandemic, and I think that's one of the things that I'm truly actually thankful for. There's a good network of people that help one another.
There is, and the pandemic, it created a situation where people were physically stuck at home, whether they're working from home or not, and they
Mm-hmm.
were bored as heck. And when that first hit back in April, okay, I'm out here in the desert. Well, I got to drive 30 miles to go to Walmart. So in that 30 miles, I went to Walmart, which was a essential trip, right?
Yeah.
I stopped and I filmed as much as I could going back and forth. I filmed the mountain, went to Lake Havasu, flew a drone, went to State Park because they were open, and I created videos, and they did very well
Yeah.
and I was still on my essential travel to go get my toilet paper and bread and all that. So
As long as you weren't a hoarder, it's all good.
yeah, yeah, and actually being in an RV, you're already prepping. You're already part of a prepper. You got
Mm-hmm.
solar, and as long as you got food and water, you're pretty good shape.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry too much.
That's one of the things I would worry about in the desert is the accessibility of water regularly.
Well, you have to go get it. You have your
But where do
supply.
you get it from? And will
Well,
there
they
be
have
restrictions on how many people can go get water and
no, no, no,
no?
no,
Okay.
and you can go in town, and you're only a couple miles out of town, and a lot of places in town they sell bottled water. The machines where you fill a jug,
Yeah.
and you can empty your sewer tanks, buy propane. Once again, we get back to that free thing. Is it really free to stay in the desert? Well, no, nothing's really free because you're hauling water, you're hauling propane, you're emptying your sewer tanks and all that. And if you stay on a long term LTVA, they have a sewer dump, they have water. I wouldn't drink it, but they have water that you could actually bathe in or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to come down and experience. It's not as dramatic, you know.
It's not like those Instagram photos where there's always an ocean shot out the back doors.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
No, you got a big cactus with the snake sleeping under it. But, and the dog barking and the generator running. But no, it don't get me wrong. That's only in the busy time. There's a lot of good people. They get in groups. They love the desert and they love that lifestyle. And me personally, I'd rather stay in more of a campground area where I
Mm-hmm.
can at least plug in because I'm powered up. I do editing. I need power.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't have a generator set up for the van, which I'm working on that. There, maybe hopefully in a few months, I'll have a generator on this thing, and which would make it a little better, if I'm in outlying areas. But um, it it's not as primitive as what you think when you're out there.
I think any camping that a person does, there is extra work. Who is it? Was it Box Van D that says you can do everything living in a van that you can in a house? It just takes longer.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. For sure. Yeah, I do like Canada. Have you ever been up here?
Yes, I've been Canada many times. A lot of years ago, I was at the Calgary Stampede.
Okay.
I went up through the Banff Mountains. I was in British Columbia a couple times as a tourist,
Yeah.
driving around. Um, I drove across your state, Saskatchewan, and
Not the same as British Columbia, right?
what's the Manitoba?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nothing there. I mean, that was like that was
Well, if you're
kind of
going
like
on the number one highway, yeah, you don't see anything in Saskatchewan. You have to go farther north and
yeah,
or in valleys if it's in the south.
yeah. I didn't go that. I kind of stayed along that highway, and I ended up back in Ontario, and then I cut back into the states. But it
Hmm.
was a nice. I really enjoyed it. The roads are very well maintained, and I've met so many people from Canada. Many years ago, I was a RV park manager at a campground in Montana,
Oh,
and
Montana's pretty.
yeah, and we had all kinds of Canadians come down from Lethbridge,
Yeah.
Calgary, Saskatchewan, a lot of the French ones that couldn't speak Quebec.
Oh, they're from east.
Yeah.
There's Canada does have this divide.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
Very much a divide with the French and English.
Yeah.
Camping can't speak English, Russ. Camping therapy. Was wondering, what do you do for health insurance if you're full time traveling?
Well, I'm turning 65 now. I'm on Medicare for in the states. Um, yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people, if they're veterans or whatever, there's a lot of VA facilities around a lot of these areas in the desert. There's hospitals everywhere in all the big towns. The actual insurance itself, I mean, most people have to buy it, you know, and like Blue Cross and all that. Uh,
Okay.
but there's definitely uh, good access to health. Like in Quartzsite, they have those life flight helicopters, and they'll run you down to Phoenix, which would be the closest main hospital.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, we have air ambulances as well out
yeah,
here too.
yeah. So they'll haul you
Pretty
right out.
great.
But the actual
Yeah.
insurance itself, yeah, I'm on. I'll be starting Medicare here next month. Turning 65, so old guy.
Yeah, but you're never truly gonna retire anyways.
No, no, I love what I do. I love the video. I like the creation of it. The To me, that's the best part is creating
Yeah.
content. And we go back to the filmmaking school. I mean, um, I know I repeat that a lot, but it's a good way to. And most successful YouTubers that I know have done that. They look at not only the niche, the RV niche, but how to create a video to make it interesting. And we go back to it's all about the viewer.
Hmm.
Yeah, making a viewer pleasing. And so, and filmmaking helps. Camera angles, lighting, all that. And it's not complicated. You can do it with your phone. You know.
Well, and leads me to another question. I finally upgraded my phone, so I have an iPhone. But if I was to get any other types of cameras or anything, think a person's on a budget, still learning, growing. So, what would be my next camera that I would want to buy if I wanted to have two things running?
Yeah, GoPro makes, I think, anymore one of the best, easiest to use I know they're an action cam, but you can use them on a handheld. I have one here, but you can mount them. You can put little mounts on them, hold it. They create great video, even though the lens is small. You can shoot in 4K if you want. You can hook microphones to these things for good audio. They got built-in stabilization, so it'll take a lot of the shake out while you're moving it around. It'll stabilize the video already. And you can shoot in what they call a linear mode, which is square, and it takes the fisheye out so it doesn't look all rounded like the old GoPros. It looks like a real, just a movie camera.
So you can't see what you're filming though unless you look on an app, or has that changed?
No, it's got a low LCD screen.
Oh.
And, yeah.
Okay.
And you can also use the app on the phone. See, I don't know if that'll pick it up.
See, the less tech, the better. I had a GoPro years ago, and I couldn't see what I was filming unless I did the thing on the app, and I always had old phones, so then I was like, yeah, I gave it to my kid.
And I highly recommend, that's a GoPro 7. They got 7, 8, or 9. 9's the newest one out. They all pretty much have all the same features. They're extremely stable. You can buy a used 7 for a couple $100 on eBay. Or I always recommend just getting a new one. They're all about $300-400.
Yeah.
And it's going to last you if you drop it. You can use it on all different. I have these mounted. A lot of my dash shots are with GoPro. And
I guess, yeah, they would be pretty easy to mount on the dash.
You can mount them on mirrors and trees. I mean, anywhere. So
yeah.
You can mount them on your body. You get shoulder mounts. So if you're hiking, they got backpack mounts. If you're wearing a backpack, you can mount it here. And while you're walking.
So I just would have to remember not to slouch so much.
Yeah. Well,
maybe foot shots.
There's your 2-camera shot. You could have the camera, you're looking at the mountain, and then you could use your phone to pan around. Then in editing, you got a split shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
So much information, Russ. So much information.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you know it's been an hour and 46 minutes?
Oh my God. Oh.
I know. It feels like half an hour. Seriously, there are still 62 people watching us.
Well, we can keep going.
Awesome.
I don't care. If they got questions.
Well, your live streams, how many people do you have? Lots. How many people do you get in your live?
400 to 700 usually, continuous. And then, but that's growing here just recently. It used to be like 100 to 150. And then the last year it's grown to the 700. And then once it records, then it'll get into the thousands of views, maybe. I don't keep live streams on my channel very long. I'll delete them after about 2 weeks.
Do you lose the views that you got after the fact when you delete them?
Well, the views will go when you delete the video, but the live stream I don't feel is important enough to keep on there down the road. Like no one 2 months from now is going to watch that live stream. Because you're talking about that day when the weather and you're, yik-yakking about this and that. And it's not relevant. And you won't get the views. If you watch the views, there's your 5-second click. And I've looked at analytics on that. And so I just take them out of there. They're gone. They served its purpose. And it was a monetized live stream. And they are monetized. So you do get credit for the ads.
So that brings a person right back to still putting out the videos so that there's a passive income stream because they're evergreen and can keep sitting there, whereas the live stream can't.
The live stream can, but who's going to watch it? Yeah. Once again, it's all about the viewer. YouTube basics. It's all about the viewer. And is the viewer going to watch a 2-month-old live stream that was 5 hours long with some guy looking at the phone or going like this. No.
Sorry, that just describes my Saturday nights. I was talking to another friend. I'm gonna have to make a change. Like, I can't have. Yeah, we can put up to 10 people on a live stream, but nobody can see them, right? So I'm gonna keep it to me and maybe 2 other people at a time because it just starts to get a little crazy.
Well, if they're not interacting with
Yeah.
the actual what's going on, like if we had a third person in here and they were talking, you could bring them up full
Mm-hmm.
and take you and me out both
Yeah.
while they're talking. And then when you got a question, you can pop the 2 of you in. Then if I add my 3 cents, you could bring all 3 of us in there. And so, you got the control of that if you want to go that far with your stream. But your stream would be better. And also, if you limited the amount of time that the stream is or edit it later, even if your stream ran long like this one, then you could take it and actually edit the video down to different points that you want to feature.
True.
And then you got it. There's a video, and you could add your intro, outro. You could actually go on there and put a recorded thing, maybe about your van, putting the solar on in a water tank and the driving the French fry smelling bus. But whatever it is, you can create a story. Once again, beginning, middle, and end story. Filmmaking, video, and it's all about the viewer. And chances are they might watch something like that.
Yeah.
But live streams and video, the actual recorded, are 2 different animals on YouTube, 2 different worlds. I know some people do extremely well with live streaming because they do it like a podcast, but they do it with multiple people, and they do it daily. Some are like news shows.
Yeah.
And they're 40 minutes long, period. Bong, gone. That's it. See you tomorrow. And that kind of thing. And they do very well. Some do very poorly. I got another friend. He was one of the early van channels, and his channel died. He didn't pursue it for quite a while. He thought he'd bring it back with live streaming. Well, the live streaming really hurt him. He had like a core 20, 30, 50 people watching, but that was it. The thousands went away, and so you'll see it as your channel grows. It's there.
Well, I'm trying to do it where I'm thinking of a little bit of changes. Like, I do want to keep Mondays as I'm going to keep Mondays as interviews with guests, people like you that I want to learn from, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll just do a half an hour to an hour myself, just me, interacting with the chat, and then the panel on Saturdays.
Well, if you do it just you, have something you can throw up there too, something visual.
A topic, and then use the visual to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and take you out of the picture and just put the whole visual on the screen, or a recorded video without any sound. Whatever your topic is, have that showing while you're talking, and then pop that out, and here you come back. And, a perfect example is a newscast. Don't watch what they're saying, watch how they say it, watch how they make it. And if you notice in a video, when you're editing, the shot's 5 to 10 seconds long while it changes. Count. I bet you can't count over 8 when you're watching a TV show and that scene changes. That's part of editing. That's how they teach. That's how they teach film editing, is to change it. And that keeps your brain, your subconscious brain, the viewer, engaged. Because if you just leave it stagnant on one thing, the person's going to get lazy and they're going to look away. And that's proven science. So it just keeps them engaged, and that's part of your editing. You can chop it a little bit. Like in a travel video, you're moving, so there's your change. The lines are going, and the mountain, and on the drone, you're getting the pan, so there's always movement in the shot. the best you can. I mean, sometimes you are stagnant on shot. If you're gonna waiting for something, a bird to fly by or something. Yeah. But
I
yeah,
think too a lot of stuff will change for me personally once I can actually go anywhere and do anything. Like my big goal, honestly, and my goal is to be monetized just because that's a goal
yeah.
by the end of the year. And I'm looking like I might get that goal. And I just like having the goals, right? And then I had planned to take 3 months this winter off and I was going to travel and then just constant content and really live it the way I want to be. And now I can't. And I am not taking 3 months unpaid off of work to stay in the snow. You know?
Well, but actually, there's content all around you.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your ambulance parked in your driveway?
Mm-hmm.
Well, shovel the snow going out there. Make a video about it. Where should I be? And then come in on your live stream and hold up a picture of Quartzsite with the sun, you know, while you're shoveling, or have the picture inside the cab. I shoveled the snow out to the cab and opened it up. And then when you open the door, you roll into your editing, there's a shot of the desert,
See, you are a movie maker. Like
But
your brain just works in the greatest ways. That's why you
yeah,
have so much success.
but you have content. My whole point is it's around you all the time. Going to the
Yeah.
store. I mean, uh, if while you have this free time, it's a perfect opportunity to look for private work.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of businesses that would really appreciate a video for their Facebook. You can go on Facebook and Google who's around you locally.
Mm-hmm.
Go in there and say, hey, and even if you do it for free, just to get your feet wet,
I think for me it'd be more I need to do it to learn so that I'm better at it. But I mean otherwise I'm still working full time and I'm not allowed to travel
yeah,
even though I'm working from home. So
maybe they'll give you some free products or something. I mean, whatever. But
that I'm gonna have to
something.
have you up again for another stream sometime because that's another whole ball of wax that we could have been talking about too. There's just so much stuff.
Yeah, but most of it's junk.
Oh,
Be very, very careful with reviews.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll really come back and haunt you, and not good for the channel. A lot of that made in China, and them guys, they really prey on YouTubers, and they're going to give you this product for a video. Well, if the product fails, uh, I turned down 90% of what it sent to me or more. And
You know
I
what,
wouldn't
Russ?
do it.
I just had a situation, not that they offered me to review by any means, but I ordered a diesel heater because I was going out to see Badge in Alberta and he was going to help me put it in. And I ordered it way in advance. It's not coming. It's not coming. They gave me someone else's tracking number. I had to go through FedEx and deal with all this. It never has showed up. Contacted the company through Amazon. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And then I went and put a bad review up.
Yeah.
Then they're text messaging me and offer me $20 to take my review down.
Yeah,
I said
it
no.
hurts. That hurts.
I'm like, no, I'm not going to take it down.
Yeah.
It's not worth $20 to me to have someone else have to go through that.
Yeah. Yeah. Should have said, give me the heater for free, and then another 500 for the video, and then.
Well, I'm still wondering where it is in the world because it said it got delivered in Ontario to an address that is obviously not mine.
Yeah.
And and then FedEx it's just a big gong show.
Yeah.
But yeah, a person would have to be very careful with reviews because our reviews make a big difference.
Yeah. No, and like you said, that's a whole nother world. But just be careful with it. I mean, actually, when you're a young channel, they don't hurt, but most people will click off of it because they don't care about that product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll notice when you go in your audience retention that viewer probably lasted 10 seconds on that review video.
You know,
And
one thing I've noticed, there's a lot of travel channels that I religiously watched, religiously. And then they got to do where they were doing too many paid promotions in their videos.
yeah,
That, yeah, that turned me off.
yeah, and that's where a while back you asked about sponsorships, and you got to be very careful, very selective. Like I don't want to do 10 RV parks. I focus on the two that I've done for years. I got a good
Mm-hmm.
track record. People are happy with it, and they don't mind me talking about them. You know, and it's not like I'm pumping them every day, branding that. But
Yeah.
but everything's branding when you get into the monetization and the business end of YouTube. And it's the same with any business. You're going to brand yourself, your logo, your music, what your niche is, and all that. And so it just be very careful with those reviews. Make sure it's a product that all these people over here in the chat would be interested in, just not you. It's
Mm-hmm.
all about the viewer. Once again,
Well, you guys heard it. All of you in the chat, let me know what you want to see. I tried putting,
yeah,
now that I have a community tab, I tried putting a poll out there, and I'm
yeah.
just trying to get some feedback to see what anyone wants.